up strokes, so we start up and you end up. You have up down strokes where you start up and you end down. So whenever you're doing those strokes, you are simply stopping your wrist from moving back up. So you're just doing this while keeping your fingers relatively open when you start, and then you simply just close them. You're not squeezing them, so you're not going and then squeezing like this. You're just simply starting open to get that nice big full height sound, and then you're just simply closing that space, not tightening, just closing. Okay, so those are the first two strokes. The next stroke is just a down, down. So the goal is to kind of get your fingers to get out of the way while allowing them to still kind of vibrate or tickle your inside of your palm. And then the last stroke is where you start down and you end up. So you go down to up. You actually have to do the lift, so you're not relying on the rebound to get back up. And so you are striking the stick and then pulling up to get up to an upstroke. There are a lot of drumline instructors in particular who will like, oh, I heard dirt right there. And then they'll like stop and they'll break that thing down. But like, for all you know, the person was just thinking about how they're hungry. And like, then they're like, oh, I missed those rolls. And then that screwed it up. What you want to do is like rep something a couple of times to go, oh, there's a consistent air. Now we need to actually address that, as opposed to, oh, there's a dirt in the playing. Like, yeah, dirt happens. So find the consistent airs. Spend your time on that. Pro tip.
Faster than anyone has ever played before. Just kidding.
My right hand was like, no! If you are having some issues where you're inconsistent at something, it might not be the playing, it might just be your mind. Maybe you're focused on being hungry, homework you gotta do, etc. All those things will distract your mind, which prevents you from being able to play consistently. One of the things that you can actually do to help yourself out with this is to just do attention training or like meditation. Or if you're practicing, you can just give yourself a little like 5-minute break every 20, 30 minutes, whatever you need to, in order to make it so that you can stay focused when you are practicing, rather than just grinding inefficiently, playing the same thing over and over, but continuing to just make inconsistent airs because mentally you are not prepared to practice or perform. If you have a consistent air, that might be a physical air, but the inconsistent ones are all mental rather than physical. Generally speaking, from my decades of experience teaching and playing. All these things that I'm narrating out loud, like what I'm hearing when I'm messing up, those are things that if you're on a line, you should be focusing on and going, okay, next time I play through this, I'm going to focus on this. And it doesn't necessarily mean like the next full rep of it. It could mean like the next time I play through this particular rudiment. So next time I do this right hand diddle or this left-handed flam drag or whatever, then you really focus on that while you're playing. That will help you improve, and it will make it so that you don't have to be reliant upon like an instructor coming by and be like, hey, your blah 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 needs fixing by going blah blah blah, or like, hey, this diddle, you could not slur that out. So if you are actively listening for that, that can help with your own playing, and it will help the line as a whole. Wow, that sounds gross. Oh wow, ew, oh my. Ugh. I bet that felt good to get that out of the ear. Okay, well, on that note. All right, so I'm gonna go up 10 clicks at a time and see how the technique changes. So I'm specifically looking for some gray zones to see if there's like a spot where like, oh, this doesn't sound great. Like I'm in between like a slower and faster technique. And if so, then I need to sit there and work through it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stretch both thumbs at the same time. Yeah, it's like they're giving each other a hug. Now the index fingers, and then the fingers you don't say hello with. I mean, maybe you do. You do you. People just might get upset, you know, it happens. The ring fingers. Ooh, those are tight. Every finger's gonna be different whenever you're stretching it. Some days you'll need to stretch one set of fingers a little more than the others. That's all right, it happens. Depends on what you did in the couple days before it. Now that I've stretched, I'm going to massage. So I'm gonna go through and I am massaging the top part with my thumb. And then you can also massage over here. It's like you're in a warm bath. When you're doing flam fives after an accent, you really got to focus on those grace note heights. and make sure that you're not raising up the primary note as well. So it's like a pseudo accent. We just want it to be nice and low from that starting point. So it's hard to get that accent all the way down into a low grace note on the right, but you also got to make sure that your left hand doesn't look like that. So I know it's relaxed because I'm actually getting that stick hum that I mentioned in that video that's at the bottom of the technique page. And so I'm able to feel it. Even if you can't hear it, like if you're playing too fast, you can feel the stick like tickling your fingers as it vibrates. But if you're holding on to it too much, you won't feel that vibration. So while I'm doing this, like on these taps, I can feel all of those are vibrating, whereas right now they are not vibrating. So when I loosen up, I'm getting that nice and relaxed. My airs are so inconsistent right now, so it just tells me it's mental, rather than like, oh, this is a consistent problem that I need to sit down and work on. So that's why I'm not necessarily stopping for this. I just need to focus more, which is the theme of yesterday's stream as well. Still trying to catch up on sleep. This one's a fun one. I really like this one. Again, you can do this with your feet, and just like if you want to work on like double bass pedal or something. All right, cool. Stick control's great, but have you tried it with filler? It's much cooler. So you may have heard when I was playing that, I said that it was a little slurred out. So a slurred herta is, instead of making it digga-da, it's like da-ga-ga-da-ga-da. So it's like a weird like triplet with like a hiccup in it. So we want, instead of saying a sentence like, how are you? The way that a slurred out sound would be like, how are you? And so we don't want our rhythms to sound that way. We want to enunciate all of them. So when I'm doing these inverts or the inverted diddles with the hertas or the hertas themselves, I want to make sure I don't slur them out and slow things down. So the reason why I'm trying to find my breaking point with this particular exercise is because it gives me information on what I can do next time when I'm practicing this. Because these like the BPMs are in the description of each one of these videos, I can slow it all the way down, in this case down to 40 or all the way as fast as 200, and getting to that breaking point allows me to go, oh, I'm having difficulty with blah, so next time when I slow it down to like 40, I'm going to work on blah to try and improve it, whatever blah is.